Checking in today for Proverbs 22. I know this morning is actually the 23rd. Read Proverbs 22 yesterday morning. Was intent on doing the video and yada, yada, yada. 10 o'clock last night I went, oops, didn't do the video. Proverbs 22 is the beginning of a division. The first half of Proverbs 20, chapter 22, or Proverbs 22, are very similar in the one-liners, the zingers, the sharp bits of wisdom. And then the second half goes into a longer sayings, I guess you could say, more paragraphs in nature. But what I want to do this morning was just share a couple of the short one-liners that Proverbs 22 has in it. And I want to share them out of the Message version. And again, I've been doing that some throughout this series because Proverbs, especially the Message, gives a unique perspective on it. Having read it many times in the NIV, I've been really intrigued by what the Message describes it as, because I think it just helps us make sense of those comments a little bit more. So Proverbs 22, there's really three verses that stick out to me. The one is Proverbs 22:6. Point your kids in the right direction. When they're old, they won't be lost. In the NIV, right? That's train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he'll turn from it. Right after that, the poor are always ruled over by the rich, so don't borrow and put yourself under their power. Rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. That's a really powerful one. And then verse 15, young people are prone to foolishness and fads. The cure comes through tough-minded discipline. And in the NIV, this just says it this way. This one I always get a little mixed up, so I want to say it right. Verse 15, folly is bound up in the heart of a child, but the rod of discipline will drive it far away. I've been known to say lately when talking to parents, and especially parents of like college age kids, and maybe moms or dads that are worried about their kids kind of making some silly decisions or choices, whether that's as teenagers, maybe that's frustrations as kids, maybe that's as they're getting a little bit older and out on their own, and they're going, man, my kid's just being an idiot. And I'm like, well, yeah, they're 22. Like 22-year-olds are foolish. And I say that not to be the grumpy old man standing on the yard, get off my lawn, right? Like I'm not saying that to be mean-spirited, but there's truth, there's biblical truth of going, folly is bound up in the heart of a child. Young people make foolish and faddish decisions, right? Like we know that, you know that, and I know that if you're older than 22, and if not, you will know that, because at 22, we're trying to fit in, we're trying to figure it out, we're still trying to make sense. We've got so much freedom and not a lot of learning. We've got so much opportunity and not a lot of lessons yet, and again, I'm not trying to be that old guy just screaming at the young people that they're a mess. No, instead, I think what we do is we realize that you and I, if we're older, have a role to play in helping the young people, to guide them and walk with them, maybe to offer them some grace. Sometimes I think the church has really gotten that mixed up where, a 19-year-old acts like an idiot, does something foolish, and the church is like, how dare you? How could you? I can't believe you. We don't want anything to do with you. You clearly don't love Jesus. Instead of maybe putting our arm around them and being like, okay, welcome to the dumb club, right? Like, welcome to the club that's burned their hands a time or two. Anybody that's lived through their early 20s knows that we don't always make the wisest of decisions. I think any of us that have kids of our own could go back and say, man, there's some things I would have done differently. There's some choices I wouldn't have made. And so the Bible here doesn't condemn us and say we're never going to get better. It says instead, discipline is going to help correct it, right? Train a child in the way he should go. So we love, we encourage, we strengthen them, right? That the rod of discipline, I don't love that phrase because it gives me this picture of beating a kid, and I don't think that's what it's intended. But instead it's saying tough-minded, firm discipline makes a difference. And so mamas and daddies out there, if you're frustrated by your kids, keep loving and disciplining them. Keep training them and shaping them and molding them. Maybe offer them some grace and some encouragement. I'm not saying to go soft and never be firm, but what I'm saying is maybe recognize that sometimes foolishness is caught up in all of our hearts, right? That foolishness can be a result of any of us going, boy, that was not the smartest decision I could have made. And I know when I've made foolish decisions, I need some firm discipline, but I also appreciate kind grace. And I'm betting the people in your life would appreciate the same. So love them well, train them up, point them in the right direction, but make sure we're filling them with grace and pointing them to the cross, pointing them to Jesus and saying, listen, it's not over, it's not done, let's just get going. Let's get heading in the right direction. That's my encouragement for you this morning. Foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child, but discipline is the cure. And so let's encourage them to live a disciplined life, and let's help them find that path, even if they are a little foolish because they ain't quite figured it out just yet. Wishing you all nothing but the best. To the moms and dads out there, I'm praying for you. I know that it's a hard job. It seems like an impossible task, so much pressure and responsibility, but God gives us enough grace. God gives us enough wisdom and strength. So take it one day at a time, one moment at a time, and love our kids well. Wishing you all nothing but the best. Have a super awesome, amazing day. Check back later this afternoon for chapter 23. Love y'all. Peace out. Peace.